Bonjour, YouTube. It's Lux La Femme. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on my videos. And please, mesdames and messieurs, please don't forget to click the notification bell. So, today, the topic of discussion will only merit an article and my personal experience. But I feel that this is a very important topic, especially for those of us who are raised by narcissists who suffer from anxiety or PTSD or complex PTSD. It's a topic I rarely hear other YouTubers talk about. I think the only one I may have heard talk about this, and this is just this is my opinion, I could be wrong, is Lisa Romano. So let's talk about anxiety and how being raised by a narcissist causes all kinds of problems. So, and when I say problems, meaning psychologically, how you maneuver in the world. So the article is from Psychology Today. The author's name is Julie Hall. She posted this September 7th, 2020, and the byline reads, Social and Performance Anxiety in Children of Narcissists. Overthink social dynamics? Hate being evaluated or put on the spot? Here is why. By definition, narcissistic parents prioritize their own needs above the needs of their children and undermine them with unrealistic expectations, cognitive distortions, boundary violations, hypercriticism, and ongoing shame treatment. Scapegoated children typically bear the brunt of the narcissistic parent's rage and rejection. But even children treated with favoritism internalize the insecure, conditional nature of their parents' acceptance. Everyone in the family becomes hypervigilant to the outside emotional demands and reactivity of the dominant narcissist, orbiting around that person to win favor or avoid attack. It is no surprise that kids raised in this traumatizing environment often develop social and performance anxiety that can include hyperarousal, chronic self-doubt, distrust in relationships, and extreme fear of judgment. Such children internalize the following messages. Vulnerability is unsafe. Free self-expression must be repressed. Harsh judgment is ever present. Performance is tied to fundamental self-worth. Attention may lead to humiliation. It's dangerous to compete with dad or mom. It's dangerous to compete with the favored golden child. Blame is inevitable. Children carrying these beliefs may suffer from panic attacks and become socially avoidant or even phobic. They may fear speaking in class, withdraw from groups, and avoid performance-based activities, resulting in social isolation and underachievement. In adulthood, their insecurities and avoidant coping style may make them risk-averse and self-sabotaging. They may pass up educational options, social events, jobs, career advancement, leadership roles, and networking opportunities to steer away from the judgment or humiliation they've been conditioned to expect and fear they deserve. Like a foreshortening future view of life. Social anxiety and performance anxiety are little discussed, yet highly debilitating components of complex PTSD in children and adult children raised by narcissistic or otherwise personality disordered parents. I see these symptoms routinely in my work with this population and have suffered them myself as a survivor. My clients usually have little insight into the reasons for their fears, which further destabilize their self-esteem and compounds their anxiety and shame. Even when they identify the dysfunctional dynamics they grew up with, as adults, they typically struggle to recognize their anxiety response as a form of trauma and instead blame themselves for the problem. Many turn to compulsive and addictive behaviors as a way to self-soothe and disassociate from pain emotions. As with any negative conditioning, undoing the damage must involve positive reconditioning. Learning anxiety management skills is also an important part of overcoming self-defeating patterns. Here are some strategies that can help. Practice low-risk situations. Seek out opportunities to practice social and/or performance experiences in relatively non-threatening, low-risk circumstances, such as with friends or very small groups. This will help you override negative conditioning with positive experiences. It will also help you build important undeveloped skills that will increase your confidence. 2. Deactivate your trauma response. Learn ways to deactivate your deeply ingrained hyper-aroused trauma response, which tends to reinforce incapacitating feelings of fear and inadequacy. Belly breathing, meditation, mindfulness, and physical activity can be effective ways to manage hypervigilance and panic. 3. Connect with your emotions. Growing up with narcissistic parents leads to emotional deregulation and alienation. Reconnecting with your emotions and building emotional literacy through self-awareness practices is a vital part of reducing anxiety and other symptoms of complex trauma. Self-awareness helps destigmatize emotions themselves, allowing us to work in alliance with our feelings rather than against them. You can build self-awareness through regular journaling, daily self-check-ins, therapy or coaching, and engagement with art and other creative forms of self-expression. 4. Cultivate attunement. On the most fundamental level, children with narcissistic parents are deprived of attuned mirroring and empathetic validation of the self. Insecure attachment and ongoing disruptions to social bonds are at the root of narcissistic developmental trauma and are the primary causes of social anxiety. Finding empathetic attunement elsewhere, such as with friends, other safe adults or relatives, animals, and nature, and artistic pursuits like music or dance, offer powerful opportunities to build connections, trust, self-confidence, and emotional regulation that alleviate anxiety and other debilitating dimensions of complex trauma. So I bring that up today to talk about or to share that, as we identify the symptoms or the different criterion of narcissistic behaviors, I have to identify the triggers that leave me susceptible to a narcissistic person in the first place. Because again, the goal is never to do it again. I don't want to be involved with another narcissist ever again in life. The person that raised me, I have a choice. I don't have to go around that person. That's a choice. I don't have to be susceptible to their mess. I'm an adult and I don't feel obligated to be around that person. And it took me a while to get to that point, so I have to, pat myself on the back on that. I don't have to be around you. I don't choose that. I'm talking about in romantic relationships. I don't ever want to date another one, be involved with another one, marry another one ever again in life. So for me, I feel like it is paramount that I identify what led me to be susceptible. And that's one of the things, being hypervigilant, being totally and completely, like growing up with a narcissistic parent, they catastrophize every mistake you make, every last one. They take it personal, they make it about them, and they fly into narcissistic rages. I have heard many people talk about they were disciplined with a belt and it didn't hurt, and that made them strong and this and that. I'm gonna tell you, when my narcissistic parent, the person who raised me, would discipline me with a belt, she would be uncontrollable with that thing. There was a time when I was 7 or 8 that I lied about. I used to do experiments all the time. And so I was experimenting to see what would happen to popcorn and Coke if left in a cup. What would happen? And I put it in, mixed together. I mixed my experiment together, and I put it in my closet, and I forgot about it. So weeks later, my mom found it, and she was heated. But she asked me, did you do this? And I lied. So she took that personal. She took that lie personal and beat me within an inch of my life. Now, most people would think, oh, well, you did something wrong and you lied, and that's why she beat you. Okay, well, can you tell me why she beat me so bad that the belt arced across my face, busted my lip, and bloodied my nose? See, that's where usually people will try to downplay it. Oh, she just got out of control. Yeah, that wasn't right. But she was out of control because she's a narcissist, and she took it personal. It became a narcissistic injury. She went into a narcissistic rage to self-soothe, and she beat her 7-year-old daughter with a belt. She beat her so bad that it left that she busted her daughter's nose, bloodied her daughter's nose, busted her daughter's lip with the belt, because her daughter lied to her about an experiment, leaving an experiment in the closet. It was that was not a catastrophe, but she catastrophized it to the point where she beat me. Then, of course, after she had time to realize what she had done, she apologized and was crying and all that mess. She lost control because I lied about an experiment. I lied about putting Coke and popcorn in a cup and leaving it in my closet and forgetting about it. I lied about that. And for her, that was enough. It's like I was insulting her intelligence. I was just being a kid, and kids don't want to get in punishment. I mean, my kids have lied to me in the past. I can't say that I lost control so much that I beat my child with a belt across the face. See, that's just one story. That's just one of the trauma that I experienced. And I think I passed that trauma on to my kids. When I realized that's why when I think my kids, I want to say my daughter was 10, I stopped giving spankings. And I've been accused of, not being, being a softie as a parent. It's like, I don't think you guys understand the trauma. I don't think you understand. And how it plays into your life as you go along, as you grow and evolve. I don't think people understand it. Because mine wasn't just, you lay across the bed and you got your ass beat. No, my mom was susceptible to do way more damage than just that. that's what I endured as a child. That's just one story. There are more. Au revoir, mon amis. We'll talk again.